Hello there, welcome to another episode of the Allotment Dram. This is a series of short videos where we sit and talk about different whiskies in the surroundings of our North London allotment. And you join me here today on what's been quite a lovely afternoon actually. A little bit breezy, just taking the edge off the temperature, but everything's really starting to grow. So I've been literally weeding all afternoon and it doesn't even look like I've done anything, to be honest. There's so many weeds, but also, you know, stuff's starting to grow. You can see these broad beans behind me looking very healthy indeed, with flowers. There's even some small beans coming down at the bottom there, so they hopefully won't be too long, another couple of weeks maybe. But while that's all very interesting, you didn't really come and join this video for a weather update or an allotment update. You came to hear about some whiskey. So what is the Allotment Dram today, I hear you ask? Well, it's a bit of a classic that we've got in our collection, and it is the Johnnie Walker 18 years old, and that's the gold label. Johnnie Walker Gold Label, 18 years old, and forms part of the core range of Johnnie Walker. So you've got the red label and the black label, 12 years old, to kind of kick things off, and then you've got a whole variant of other expressions, including the green label. There's a double black, there's this gold label, then of course you go all the way up to blue label, and then there's all types of different expressions that you can find, like a different set in the airport, and then some limited editions as well from time to time. But of course Johnnie Walker is a massive brand. It's the biggest selling Scotch whisky brand in the world, and by quite a long way. I mean, it kind of beats the second place, you know, it outsells that 2-1, the next, which is Ballantine's. So yeah, it's just a hell of a lot of whiskey that Johnnie Walker sells. Started very humble beginnings just over 200 years ago, 1820, out of a grocery shop actually in Kilmarnock, just to the south of Glasgow. And a guy called John Walker, he kind of was following the trend of the time where grocery stores were collecting all different things from around the British Empire that were starting to come back into the port of Glasgow, and this included spices. You've got tea and coffee, and the trend of the time was to get these things and then blend them together yourself. And it started happening that such people as John Walker, these sort of grocers, started to produce their own whiskies from that. They would start blending their own whiskies from different distilleries that were dotted around their local area. So John Walker started blending some of these lowland whiskies from around Kilmarnock and Glasgow, and then became sort of well known for these different blends. And you know, then we got the slanted label, you know, the iconic slanted label, and you know, the brand's gone on from there. But there's a number of these, you know, famous brands that kind of started from quite small local grocery shops. So you know, you've got the Shivers brothers had their grocery shop up in Aberdeen. You had George Ballantyne had his grocery shop in Edinburgh. Arthur Bell was in Perth, you know, and so on. So yeah, it's just, I love that sort of bit of history behind some of these big brands that we know and, you know, dominate the world of Scotch whisky these days. But that's probably enough of that. I think we should have a taste. As I say, this is a bit of a classic, and we always have one or two Johnnie Walkers in our collection because, you know, they're all fabulous for what they are. You know, at this cheaper end you've got the red label, quite basic, but the black label has a bit of smokiness. The green label has a bit of smokiness too, just four different single malts in that. But then you've got the 18. Now this has 18 different Scotch whiskies inside, so some single malts plus a couple of single grains as well. 18 in total, and all for a minimum of 18 years. So they've all been matured separately, then married together. Formerly Jim Beveridge, who, you know, lovely guy, we're very lucky to have met him a few times sort of on our travels and at various events, but now taken over He's retired and now taken over by Emma Walker, who's no relation to the original John Walker, but you know, just a coincidence. But Emma Walker now the master blender for Johnnie Walker. So I think without further ado, let's have a taste. Lovely vibrant gold colour there. Smelling very nice straight away, quite fruity actually. Sweet and fruity. Let's have a smell. Yeah, it's really very nice. Quite elegant actually. Quite vibrant. Got lovely sort of juicy dried fruits, sultana, candied orange, candied lemon as well, some raisin. Then lovely, it's all kind of mixed around with some golden syrup. There's some toffee, a bit of butter, Scotch, and like heather honey, that quite floral type of honey. Just some underlying like biscuity quality and a bit of baking spice underneath. Let's have a taste. So soft, so delicious. Instantly, what is it, 40% this is bottled at, as most of the Johnnie Walkers are. Makes it very accessible for a lot of people. I guess also, you know, that's another reason why it sells so amazingly well. But yeah, lovely. It's got this sweetness, this heather honey, golden syrup, then sweetness coming from these dried fruits that we mentioned. So the juicy sultana, big plump sultana. Then you've got some candied citrus, but you've also got some sort of stewed, like cooked apple and pear in there as well. And this just adds to the different layers, and it adds to the luxurious nature of this. So very elegant. Just tempting me to have another taste, so let's have another taste. It's really sip and savour stuff. So good. The apple and pear really coming through now, but it's not fresh, it's not dried, it's kind of cooked. So stewed or poached apple or pear, maybe with like some toffee or butterscotch sauce over the top, and then a pinch of sort of this baking spice, cinnamon, nutmeg. There's a bit of oakiness there as well, almost like you know, sort of some sawn oak. So not freshly sawn, but it's kind of, the sawdust has been kind of sitting for a little while. Just gives again another level, another sort of element of depth to it. But yeah, very, very good. Yeah, this has long been a favourite of ours, the Gold Label, 18 years old. Sort of disappeared for a bit. They sort of revamped the range a few years ago, and this became like platinum label. But you know, thankfully they've brought the Gold Label back because it's just such a good whiskey. But I think that's probably about it. We'll get on with one or two more jobs before we head off home. But thank you for watching. From myself and the Johnnie Walker Gold Label, 18 years old, we will bid you farewell, and we hope to see you again for another Allotment Dram quite soon. Cheers.